curfew will begin in 10 minutes. Please return to your homes immediately. Remember, the curfew is here for your own safety. Breaking the terms of the curfew is a serious offense. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Tonight's curfew will commence at 1900 hours. Thank you for your patience and understanding.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you.
Hey everybody, how you doing today? It is September 8th, 2020, and this is a very, very important video. First off, I want to thank JNJ528 for bringing this to my attention. She let me know last night, and then even again this morning showed me a little bit more that was going on that I could dig into. And I'm not kidding, I've spent the last probably 3.5 hours digging into this, and this will be the first video of probably about 4 or 5 different videos, because every time I got deeper into this, I found something else that I need to show you, but there is no chance I can put it all into one video. Number one, it would take forever and people wouldn't be able probably to sit through it, but number two, they probably would block it. So we're just going to start here, and I'm going to piece this together for you because this is really, really important, okay? You know, we've talked about FEMA camps, right? We've talked about this forever. You talked all the way back to, to your Walmart FEMA camps, and, we were all a bunch of conspiracy idiots, and we said that those Walmarts were getting turned into detention centers, and sure enough, that's exactly what's happened with multiple of them. And we got so many more. I've actually been looking on Google Earth, and I found some pretty interesting stuff, so I cannot wait to get that out as well. Like I said, I'm really overwhelmed right now, but I want to get this information to you. It's that important. So let's read here. This is starting at the Tennessee Star, okay? And it says, Ohio FEMA camps, still more questions than answers. So you're going, all right, this could just be tabloid type stuff, you know what I mean? So we just start digging into it, September 4th, it's only a couple days ago. It says, the Ohio Star reported on September 3rd that the Ohio Department of Health Interim Director Lance Himes released an order on August 31st, an order creating Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, shelters, and legalizing their use for people who are unable to safely quarantine in their place of residence, and to isolate those diagnosed with or showing symptoms of CV-19. Everybody, you need to understand that is very dangerous. This is not, they didn't say everybody that was positive, tested positive, which doesn't matter anyways, because we know that they can, pretty much make a positive test no matter what. But this is even more serious because, they're talking just because you're showing symptoms, it is now legal in Ohio now for them to hold you against your will. And we're going to get into the actual bill that passed, okay? But I want to read a little bit more of this. It says, the non-congregate FEMA sheltering will be utilized throughout the state for people, according to the examples given by Himes, who test positive for COVID-19, who do not require hospitalization but need isolation, including those exiting from hospitals, those who've been exposed to CV-19, who do not require hospitalization, and asymptomatic high-risk individuals needing social distancing as a precautionary measure. This has been their story since the beginning, right? You've been hearing me scream how broad, they've left everything so vague, right? We've been talking about the symptoms list and everything else, how it's so, close to the flu, and, they leave it so wide open that they can pretty much do anything that they want. That's what they've been doing since the beginning. But another part that I saw when this, it just kind of, it floored me when it said exiting from hospital. So I started to look into that too, and I have another article that I'm going to do a follow-up on, and it was just about not the hospitals, but the jails, okay, and prisons. That when people were released from jail and prison, I'm not talking before when they did all that. This is a new thing they're going to start doing, they said. To prevent this from spreading anymore, every person that gets released So, you did your time. It doesn't matter what it is. You had, a driving on a suspended license or a disorderly conduct. You did 30 days. You come out. You automatically now are going to have to go into a 14-day isolation quarantine facility. You're not going to have a choice. These are steps right to full martial law. And it's very, very obvious now. Let's keep reading this, though. And like I said right there, even if you were coming out of a hospital, so you had a baby, say you went in for some type of surgery, or you went in because you had to go to the emergency room for stitches. You understand what I'm getting at? This is so vague that they can do anything they want. So when you're starting to see stuff like this, it's scary. And when you're starting to see FEMA right in it, and you're going to see in the actual bill is all FEMA. It says Ohio Emergency Management Agency, or EMA, is to secure the necessary approvals for the use of non-congregate sheltering, and local health officials are to be on the lookout for both public and private spaces to be utilized for the FEMA camps. Okay, now this is exactly what these Walmarts are, right? And I just spent like 2 hours on a video about 3 days ago on all the Krogers that are shutting down in Michigan. And I'm not saying that they're for sure going to be turned into those, but the areas that they were getting shut down in sure did line up with, your heavily populated urban areas where they've been saying this is really going to spread. I'm just saying those buildings are definitely there, I mean, you have Walmart that have closed thousands of stores in the last year just in the United States that are just sitting there. And I've gone to Google Earth and looked at them, and they are just sitting there. Many of them next to railways, like we had seen before, next to government things, you know what I mean? It all lines up, everybody. Okay. It says, look at this, too. It says, state-funded colleges and universities are required to hand over their vacant buildings and grounds for use under the order. So this is like, it's not, your college, you may, your family may have gone to that college, your son, your daughter, you may trust this college, and they may not even have the choice. They are required to hand over certain classrooms, dormitories, you know what I mean? Any facility, they're going to be using sporting, indoor sporting places, you go back to Hurricane Katrina, that's what we're going to see. All right? But now, here, I'm just going to get right to the bill, because this, I just want to get this in here, okay? I want to get this done and get this edited and get it out to you. All right, right here, let's find it. Here we go. This is the actual bill, okay? This is what just passed, and this is what J&J 528 was telling me to look into. And, man, oh man, I just want to thank you, because like I said, I don't have a lot of time to watch other videos, as much as I used to always just watch other videos, but now I'm constantly editing all day, recording, editing, I'm working on mine all day, so I don't, whatever I'm doing my research on, that's what I find. But if it's something else, I used to see it through a different channel, so many great channels, and I don't get it that much. So definitely leave comments like this, let me know. This says Director's Order. Listen to this. It says, Director's second amended order for non-congregate sheltering to be utilized throughout Ohio. Oh, and real quick, don't think this is only Ohio. When I just did a broad search for this, I came up with 9 states, and that was probably about 5 minutes of searching. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, it just went on and on. So, and I'm sure it's probably all 50 states. I would imagine that they're all doing it, and if they don't, they're in process to do it. This says, Lance Himes, Intern Director of the Ohio Department of Health, pursuant to the authority granted to me in RC 3701.042, require reports to make inspections and investigations that the Director considers necessary to make special orders for preventing the spread of a contagious or infectious disease. It says, investigate or make inquiry as to the cause of the disease or illness, including contagious, infectious, epidemic, pandemic, or endemic conditions, and take prompt action to control it and suppress it. Order the following to prevent the spread of CV-19 within the state of Ohio. When you hear words like that, when you hear them talking like that, taking prompt action to control and suppress it, I'm telling you, we are, there's no doubt, we are months away from this happening, okay? If we have 6 months, I think we're lucky. I'm not kidding, this isn't all preach fear. I'm preaching preparedness. Just get your family ready, It says, I don't have to read this whole thing, even though it's not that long, so I probably will. Hopefully you'll stay with me, because it definitely is important. Number 1 says, non-congregate sheltering be utilized throughout the state for those who are unable to safely self-quarantine in their place of residence and to isolate those diagnosed with or showing symptoms of CV19. See, so right there, they already have it wide open and broad. Again, right? Because it says to be utilized for people who are unable to self-quarantine in their place of residence and to isolate those who are diagnosed with or showing symptoms of CV19. That means anything. They can just take you because you're showing symptoms, or then they could take you because you tested positive and, oh yeah, your home's not good enough. You live too close to somebody. Say you live in an apartment building, right? They're going to say, oh, no, you can't. That's not good enough. You live with other people of your family. Oh, no, you can't. You could have a chance of infecting them. It says, examples of the type of persons, including in this order, are those who test positive, okay, who do not require hospitalization but need isolation, including those exiting from hospitals, those who have been exposed to CV19 who do not require hospitalization, and asymptomatic high-risk individuals needing social distancing as a precautionary measure. Sheltering specific populations in non-congregate shelters should be determined by a local public health official's direction or guidance and should be based on individuals' needs. See? Wide open. Just like they said, it just depends, do you need social distancing? Like I said, you in an apartment building or you live with family? Oh, that's the part they'll use on you. It just depends on what it is. You test positive? Well, because of that, we're going to take you. You know what I mean? Are you homeless? Oh, well, we got to take you because if you don't have a home, you obviously can't quarantine yourself, right? Oh, man. And this is what they all went back to right here, these dates, okay? When I was looking at North Carolina's, too, I read all of North Carolina's, and theirs was the same thing, in March. So it's not like this thing just happened. This has all been planned step by step, and it's just all, getting rolled out right in front of us. It says, on March 20th, 2020, the state of Ohio and FEMA entered into a FEMA/state agreement applicable to the entire state of Ohio and authorizing applicants to apply for emergency protective measures, including non-congregate shelter. It says the Ohio Emergency Management Agency is to secure the necessary approvals for the use of non-congregate sheltering. Statewide and local government agencies should take all necessary actions to identify both public and private facilities, secure available space, and enter into any contracts or mutual aid agreements that may be necessary to procure, equip, and operate non-congregate shelters throughout the state. In the event state officials determine there is a need for the state to operate a non-congregate shelter, the Ohio EMA shall coordinate with the appropriate state entities. Yep, that means you're getting all your police and all your National Guard and whatever it is, your state entities first, your state police, and then FEMA's going to bring in the National Guard or whatever they're going to do. But listen to that, right? It says to identify both public and private facilities, secure the space, so they want you to go and do a contract with them and actually look at and enter in any contracts, or mutual aid agreement. Mutual aid agreement. Oh, well, if you do this for us, we'll do this for you. You know what I mean? They're all going to be in on this. But then the next part is what is really, it just starts to, not scary, but it just tells you what's going on. To equip. I mean, listen to that. What are they going to equip them with? Oh, well, they're just going to have, PPE. That's what you always hear, right? And the bedding and this. Yeah, or maybe it's more a little bit, more conspiracy-minded like we were, and it might be a little bit more about keeping us against our will and against our rights that we thought we had. It says public colleges and universities are directed to make available vacant grounds, buildings, and facilities of such college or university as determined by necessary and suitable after reasonable consultation between the respective college or university officials and the local Board of Health, Ohio EMA, or County Emergency Management Agency for temporary use as a non-congregate sheltering to prevent the spread of CV19. This is the biggest load of crap. This is just unreal. The people are still falling for this. Sports got taken away up here. Now they're actually going to let all the kids play. Okay, but to play football, you have to live. They want them wearing masks while they're playing. Okay, and I mean, everything that I'm hearing around here is just, I'm sure you're dealing with it everywhere, but it's just, it infuriates me now. I'm at that point, But it's all right. I just keep praying for, just strength to get through and praying. Keep me calm. I mean, for real, don't let me get overreacted because that's what they want. You know what I mean? It says, public colleges and universities are further directed to negotiate a mutual aid agreement between the respective college or university officials and the local Board of Health, Ohio EMA, or County Emergency Management Agency for the temporary use of such colleges or university available vacant grounds, buildings, and facilities as have been determined to be necessary and suitable for temporary use as non-congregate sheltering to prevent the spread of CV-19. I mean, you're hearing this, right? We're not talking like they're saying, oh, well, we might need 1 or 2 buildings here or there. They're telling you to prepare everywhere. They're telling you to go and get all these buildings. You better make sure you have the contracts ready. You better make sure you have the staff ready. You better have it equipped exactly how it's going to be, because we are going to be putting people in these places against their will. It says, to the extent deemed necessary to implement this order, such mutual aid agreements may include temporary private medical facility use of such colleges or universities available vacant grounds, buildings, and facilities, and such college and university and its personnel, shall be deemed to be performing a public duty and entitled to the defenses to and immunities from civil liability provided in RC 2743.02. All right? In connection with such temporary private medical facility use. Okay, so right there, they're pretty much, we've all talked about this. If you go into, depending on what the government declares, right, they can declare that all people that work have to do this stuff because it's for the greater good, right, because it's for, the health of everyone, right, to protecting everybody's health. So that means that now you have to work at these places. You will not get paid, but you will do it, because if you don't do it, then you're against this. And they're even saying that your civil liability doesn't work anymore. So that means all your civil rights, everything else, all that, every part of your rights are thrown out the window. It says public colleges and universities are further directed to impose reasonable restrictions on the use and access to the property and facilities of such college or university. It says, pursuant to RC, deemed necessary to implement this order. It says, in accordance with RC 3345, it says, except for a community college, state community college, technical college, or university branch, a state institution of higher education and its personnel, while requesting or providing assistance or aid pursuant to a mutual aid agreement under this order, shall be deemed to be performing a public duty. So they're telling you, it doesn't matter. If you're only going to have certain restrictions, or certain, certain areas where you'll be able to get out of doing this work. You know what I mean? If you are work for these, if you're a janitor, if you're a teacher, just, I'm not saying I know every single thing about this. I'm just, that's what I see in it, that they're telling them that they're going to have to work. It says also, and have the defenses to and shall be, defenses to and immunities from civil liberties provided in that same thing again, over and over they say. Community colleges, state community colleges, tech colleges, university branches, and personnel of such institutions, while requesting or providing assistance or aid pursuant to a mutual aid agreement under this order, shall have the defenses and immunities from civil liability provided in RC 2744-02. All right? And shall be entitled to all applicable limitations on recoverable damages under RC 2744.05. Sorry, I'm just running through these things. I will leave a link to this, and you can, if you want to look up each one of these bills. I looked up a few of them, and it's scary, because literally it's just showing how little rights you have left once they're putting these type of orders in, okay? You just don't have hardly any rights left. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter if you're working at these places or if you're going to be stuck in one of these and kept in one of these places. All right, let's finish this up. It says, nothing in this amended order prevents private Ohio colleges or universities from working with Ohio EMA and or local authorities to provide non-congregate shelter if needed. They may enter into mutual aid agreements under Section 5502.30 of the revised code. See, they're just changing everything that they can. And I love all this mutual aid agreements. Yeah, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. But guess what? That's all evil. I mean, for real, if that's worth it, Oh, man. But it sounds like a lot of these people aren't going to have a choice. You know what I mean? So that's why we have to prepare. Prepare. Now listen here, it says this amended order shall take effect immediately and remain in full force and it will expire in 90 days or at a time to be determined by the Director of Health, whichever is sooner. Okay, so 90 days. 90 days from 31st. Okay, so 90 days, so 3 months. So what, September, October, till the end of November. How convenient, right? That's right about the time that all of this is supposed to happen, right? The vax is supposed to come out at the end of the year, beginning of the next year. All this different, military stuff that I've looked up and shown. All of them run out to that about that time, all their contracts, everything else that I've seen. Yeah, this is all lining up perfectly, people. Please share this. Oh, share it everywhere. It says, accordingly, to avoid an imminent threat with a high probability of a widespread exposure to CV19 with a significant risk of substantial harm to a large number of people in the general population, including the elderly, in people with a weakened immune system and chronic medical condition, I hereby order non-congregate sheltering to be utilized throughout the state for those who are unable to safely self-quarantine in their place of residence, and to isolate those diagnosed with or showing symptoms of CV19. This order shall take effect immediately and remain in full force. Full force. There's the words again. Your task force, your full force. It's all about force. And it will expire in 90 days or at a time to be determined by the Director of Health, whichever is sooner. So yeah, they'll just run it out 90 days and then they'll do it again, or they'll just do whatever they want. They change everything. But I just want to read this one part real quick and I'll end this here. But when it says, I order this, you know what I mean? Like, it says to, who are unable to self-quarantine. This is all a judgment. This isn't black and white, right? These are judgment calls. That's why. So that they can decide to do what they want with you. Because you can't, I can say, I can self-quarantine myself. I'll just stay in my apartment. And they're going to say, oh, no, you can't do that. That just doesn't work. You might say, oh, I want to stay in my house. They're going to say, oh, no, that doesn't work. You're too close to a community. Your houses are too close together. You get what I'm saying, right? They're trying to act like, that it's only going to be needed when, used when needed. But it's not, and especially when it doesn't even say you have to test positive. It says to isolate those diagnosed with or showing symptoms of CV19. Alright, we're going to end this here. I got to get this edited. I got to get this out to you. I have a couple more I'm working on, like I said. But I truly believe, just like you saw at the beginning of this video, curfews are coming, lockdowns are coming. They're showing it in everything. And if you think that these FEMA camps aren't real, do some research, because they are. And they're really, really about to get real right when you can see them everywhere. That's the problem. Wake up now. Wake your family up. Wake your neighbors up. Wake anybody that you possibly can up. Because we truly are almost out of time to prepare. We're not out of time. They're running out of time. That's what we have to get across. This is a battle of good versus evil. Okay? And the evil is running out of time. That is why everything is ramping up so much. Because we know in the end, good defeats evil. That's it. It doesn't change, okay? There are no more chapters that will be added onto the Bible, okay? We know this. But you are running out of time to be prepared for what is going to happen in these times, okay? And we know these times are going to get tough. It says it over and over again in the Bible. So prepare now. Pray now. Pray for everything right now that you can. I mean, seriously, there is so much evil and so much, just anger and attack being unleashed on all of us. I feel it each day. I know everybody else is feeling it. If you're spiritual, you're feeling that spiritual attack coming back at you. So let's just keep doing this. Let's keep praying. Let's keep sharing this. And we will continue to make a difference. If one more person wakes up because of this video, then I did the right thing, you did the right thing, etc., etc. I love you all. Please, please